The skies above Washington, D.C. are typically filled with the familiar hum of aircraft. It's a sound that many residents have grown accustomed to, a constant reminder of the bustling activity that defines the nation's capital. From commercial airliners to military jets, the airspace is a testament to the city's importance and its connection to the rest of the world. On January 29, 2025, that hum was shattered by an unthinkable tragedy. The day began like any other, with the usual flow of air traffic. But as the morning progressed, the skies darkened, and a sense of foreboding filled the air. Suddenly, a bright flash lit up the sky, followed by a deafening explosion that echoed across the city. An American Airlines regional jet, Flight 5342, collided with a Black Hawk helicopter. The jet was on its final approach to Reagan National Airport, while the helicopter was conducting a routine training mission. The collision was catastrophic, sending both aircraft spiraling out of control. The collision occurred just a few miles from Reagan National Airport. The airport, one of the busiest in the country, was immediately thrown into chaos. Flights were grounded, and emergency protocols were activated as first responders rushed to the scene. The wreckage fell into the icy waters of the Potomac River. There were no survivors. The river, already treacherous in the winter months, became a scene of devastation. Emergency response vessels and helicopters scoured the area, but it quickly became clear that there was no hope of finding anyone alive. The nation watched in horror as the news unfolded. Television screens across the country displayed images of the wreckage and the frantic rescue efforts. People gathered in public spaces, their faces etched with shock and disbelief. The tragedy dominated headlines, and for days it was the only topic of conversation. The crash served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Memorials sprang up across the country with flowers, candles, and heartfelt messages left in honor of the victims. Communities came together to mourn, offering support to the families who had lost loved ones in the disaster. It also raised serious questions about aviation safety. How could such a tragedy occur in an era of advanced technology and stringent safety protocols? Investigations were launched to determine the cause of the collision, and the findings would have far-reaching implications for the aviation industry. This incident, occurring so close to the nation's capital, sent shockwaves throughout the country. It was a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that exist even in the most secure environments. Vigils were held in public spaces, with people coming together to honor the memory of those who perished and to reflect on the importance of safety and vigilance in our daily lives. American Airlines Flight 5342 began its journey in Wichita, Kansas. It was a bright and clear morning, and the passengers were in high spirits, looking forward to reaching their destination. The flight was scheduled to make a routine trip to Washington, D.C., with a brief stopover in Chicago. The crew, consisting of 2 pilots and 3 flight attendants, were seasoned professionals, ensuring that everything was in order for a smooth journey. The Bombardier CRJ-700 was on its final approach to runway 33 at Reagan National Airport. The weather conditions were favorable, with clear skies and minimal wind, making it an ideal day for flying. The pilots communicated with air traffic control, receiving clearance for landing. As the plane descended, passengers could see the sprawling cityscape of Washington, D.C. below, a sight that many found breathtaking. The flight was carrying 59 passengers and 5 crew members. Among the passengers were business travelers, families on vacation, and individuals visiting friends and relatives. The cabin crew moved through the aisles, ensuring that everyone was comfortable and that all safety protocols were followed. The atmosphere inside the plane was calm and relaxed, with many passengers engrossed in their books, movies, or conversations. It was a routine flight until those final moments. Everything seemed to be going according to plan, with no signs of trouble. The pilots were focused on their instruments, making the necessary adjustments for a smooth landing. However, unbeknownst to them, a series of events was about to unfold that would change the course of the flight forever. The Black Hawk helicopter involved was on a training mission. It was part of a routine exercise conducted by the military to ensure that their personnel were prepared for any situation. The helicopter had taken off from a nearby base and was performing maneuvers in the vicinity of the airport. The training mission was designed to simulate real-life scenarios, testing the skills and coordination of the crew. It had a crew of 3 experienced military personnel. These individuals were highly trained and had undergone rigorous preparation for such missions. They were familiar with the terrain and the challenges that came with flying in various conditions. Their objective was to complete the training exercise successfully and return to base without any incidents. The helicopter was equipped with night vision goggles. This advanced equipment allowed the crew to operate effectively in low-light conditions, enhancing their ability to navigate and perform their tasks. The use of night vision technology was crucial for the success of the mission, providing the crew with a clear view of their surroundings even in the dark. The exact nature of the training mission remains unclear. While it was known that the helicopter was conducting a routine exercise, the specific details and objectives were not disclosed. What is certain, however, is that the events that followed would leave a lasting impact on everyone involved, marking a tragic chapter in aviation history. Tragically, all 64 souls aboard the American Airlines flight perished. The 3 crew members of the Black Hawk helicopter also lost their lives. Among the passengers were families returning home, business travelers, and a group of young figure skaters. The U.S. Figure Skating Organization confirmed that several members of their community were on the flight. They were returning from a national camp in Wichita. The loss of these young athletes adds another layer of sorrow to this devastating event. The weather conditions at the time of the crash were clear. Visibility was good. This makes the cause of the collision even more perplexing. Investigators are looking into a range of possibilities. One theory is that pilot error played a role. Another possibility is a mechanical failure in one or both aircraft. Air traffic control recordings will be crucial in determining what happened in those final moments. Air traffic control transcripts reveal that the Black Hawk helicopter crew was in communication with controllers. They were aware of the approaching American Airlines jet. Controllers instructed the helicopter to pass behind the CRJ and maintain visual separation. However, the communication abruptly stopped shortly before the collision. Why the communication ceased remains a mystery. Investigators will be analyzing the recordings for any clues. Section 6. Searching for answers. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, is leading the investigation. They are working alongside the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, and the Department of Defense. Divers are working tirelessly to recover the wreckage from the Potomac River. The black boxes from both aircraft have been located. These devices record flight data and cockpit audio. Analyzing this data will be crucial in piecing together the events that led to this tragedy. Section 7. Leaders react. President Trump addressed the nation shortly after the crash. He expressed his condolences to the families of the victims. He called the event a tragedy of terrible proportions. Transportation Secretary Duffy vowed a thorough investigation. He stated that the crash was absolutely preventable. Virginia Governor Youngkin urged prayers for the victims and their families. He praised the first responders for their swift actions. Leaders from across the political spectrum expressed their grief and support. Section 8. Airport at a standstill. The collision caused major disruptions at Reagan National Airport. Flights were grounded for several hours. At least 19 aircraft were diverted to Dulles International Airport. The ripple effects of the tragedy were felt throughout the aviation system. The closure of Reagan National Airport caused significant delays and inconveniences for travelers. However, the impact paled in comparison to the immeasurable loss suffered by the families of the victims. Section 9. Lessons yet to be learned. The investigation into this tragic collision will be long and complex. Experts from various fields are coming together to piece together the events that led to this disaster. Each fragment of evidence, no matter how small, is crucial in understanding the bigger picture. The meticulous process involves not just examining the physical wreckage but also analyzing flight data, communication logs, and even weather conditions at the time of the incident. It is too early to say definitively what went wrong. The initial findings may point to several potential factors, but it will take months, if not years, to reach a conclusive answer. The investigators are under immense pressure to provide answers, not just to the authorities, but to the grieving families who have lost their loved ones. Every detail is being scrutinized to ensure that no stone is left unturned. However, one thing is certain: this tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the importance of aviation safety. The protocols and safety measures that are in place are there for a reason, and this incident underscores the need for constant vigilance and improvement. Pilots, engineers, and aviation staff undergo rigorous training to handle emergencies, but sometimes unforeseen circumstances can still lead to catastrophic outcomes. We owe it to the victims and their families to learn from this tragedy. Their loss should not be in vain. By understanding what went wrong, we can implement changes that will enhance the safety of air travel for everyone. Memorials and vigils are a poignant reminder of the lives lost, and they also serve as a call to action for the aviation community to strive for better safety standards. We must do everything in our power to prevent such a horrific event from happening again. This means not only adhering to existing safety protocols but also innovating and adapting to new challenges. Continuous training, regular safety drills, and thorough inspections are essential components of a robust safety culture. The aviation industry must work collaboratively to share knowledge and best practices to mitigate risks. The skies should be a safe passage, not a place of sorrow. Every passenger who boards a plane should have the confidence that they will reach their destination safely. The beauty of flight lies in its ability to connect people and places, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure that this mode of transport remains one of the safest. Let us honor the memory of those lost by committing to a future where such tragedies are averted.